live, catching everybody off base. We went live 5 minutes. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, you're live.
5 minutes early.
Got to be early. My dad used to say, what was it? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
Yeah. If you're not on time unless you're 5 minutes early. So I've heard it said that way too.
Sounds better that way. Yeah, that's my father who passed away. He was always early and on time and all that kind of stuff. So, or early.
Though, on that front, I watched, there was like a little YouTube short or like an Instagram short or something, like a little clip. And it was Steve Harvey. And he was talking about a study that he read that said late people live longer because they just don't give a shit about anything. I said, that kind of makes sense. People who are late live longer.
Yeah, I wouldn't figure he's one of those. He's one of the hardest working guys on the planet,
Yeah. That's what he was saying. He was like telling a story how frustrated he was with like people who show up late, and then he's like read this thing. He's like, well, maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe maybe I should.
Let's bring in. Hey, Chad's here. Let's bring him in and get his opinion. Okay. Chad, have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard that saying? Because we started like 5 minutes early, right? That the saying, if you're early, you're on time, and if you're on time, you're late. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard something like that. It's been a while though.
Yeah. That's how high professionalism of a bar we start. This is for Devour, and we're talking about being late, right? That's how we roll.
I'm telling Shelly here too.
All right, cool. So, while you're pinging Shelly, so overall state of the union before we kind of. Shelly's here. Oh my God, I thought Shelly was gonna had something going on.
She pinged you in a Telegram that she was going to be able to make it.
I'm just gonna make her wait in the wings, and she's
don't do that.
And I can see her. She's laughing at me.
I got myself back on track.
What's going on, Shelly?
It's early here in Arizona, but I'm ready to go.
It is early for you. Yeah.
Shelly,
I saw a report the other day about the Arizona housing market, right? That it was one of those that's, I guess, set to kind of go down or something. Is that?
It should. It definitely, there was a bubble created a couple of years ago. I was house hunting, and the last house that I went for, I went in $50,000 over asking price, waived the inspection, and still was not top 10. So we get a ton of cash buyers coming in from California. I'm originally from Indiana. I used to always say, hey, it's comparable here, cost of living, but that's changed. Which, Zach, one day I saw you with the picture with the Indiana casino hat on. I was going to ask you about that, and I'd forgotten. Yeah. I'm like, are you in that region?
I lived in Indianapolis for like 4 or 5 months. So I went to, the Indiana Grand, and I got a hat.
Got it. Okay. I lived in Broad Ripple for about 20 years there in Indianapolis. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, Shelly, I got to tell a story about Zach. He's a professor, right?
What? I do not.
He has a PhD. Well, you still are. You still have the degree.
I don't use it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a doctorate without dissertation, Zach. I went for my doctorate in psychology, and then I'm like, I'm a techie at heart. I can't do it. But wow, look at you. That's awesome.
Right there with you. I got mine in communication, so I guess I'm kind of using it here on YouTube.
You are, absolutely. Well, this is new and different for me. I don't typically do this. So,
well, we appreciate you gracing us. We dragged you out into the open and the public and the wild, and now you're in.
I do 10 plus Zoom calls a day, but not the live streaming.
That would probably be great. So Shelly, here's what we're gonna do. I'll give you kind of the high level. Chad's been through this. So what we're doing is we're actually broadcasting. We have the ability, we're broadcasting this particular time to my channel and Zach's channel. Okay. And so both of us is on our channel. And so this is obviously your guys' time. Last time, Chad, when we did the last one, I continue to learn more and more and more. And I'm just amazed at what you guys are doing. And I really kind of I'm going to throw it to you first. And I want your stance on why y'all started Devour, where you saw the opportunity, and just kind of take it from there, wherever you want to go, and we'll just kind of go. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, your audio can't hear you. See, there it is. She did that on purpose.
I did it already. Because I'll mute off here, but I'm prepared to share how I'm a degen like the rest of them. You know, got into Doge at sub half a penny. I've buried my share of phone, and I was in Saitama early July of 21.
Oh my God, you are old school. Wow, there you go.
There you go.
There
Absolutely.
You go. Well, hold on. Before then, let me. Are you buying some bone? Even more?
And as we were starting Devour, obviously I needed funds to be able to help, because I sold my Saitama too early. But and that's typical degen story, right? But so I still have some left. But I am buried and sold some of it. I was hoping for $3 or $4, by that time. But Shibarium should change it, and still tons of opportunity there.
Yeah. Well, I think I know this is about Devour, but I always love Bone. I think is one of the biggest opportunities. One of the safest bets, right? I think that it's one of the safest plays out there. So anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I farmed and did all the, I went in pretty heavy, so I had earned a lot of bone during that time when they initially released the swap. I attended Shib's live streaming party, and I think that was August or so of 21 as well. That was kind of a flop, but it was interesting.
Cool. Wow, now I have even more respect for you. I didn't know you did the degen stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
hey, that's all right. We're kindred. Okay, so now go back, kind of like Devour, right? I mean, let's get it started. Let's go ahead.
Let's do it.
Shelly, you're up. Can you hear me?
I think she might be.
I'm sorry.
Sharing.
I am. We're live and going, huh?
Yeah.
Are we live? We're live?
Have we been live this whole time? I told my story on live. I thought we were still backstage and going. Sorry about that. See,
We've been live for 7 minutes. We were talking about your house in Arizona. We've been live. We're live, baby. This is an Austin
live. I don't know.
This is an Austin Zach live stream. We talk about a bunch of other stuff too, right?
I don't know why I had in my head we were still backstage, and you're like, "Hey, 3, 2, 1, let's go!" That's awesome. So Devour. Chad and I have both been in the restaurant tech space for a really long time. Myself, about 30 years. I've been an owner operator. Had a nightclub there in Indianapolis. Zach, you just shared that you had been there for a bit. But in 21, we really saw this opportunity that no one within the restaurant tech space was pivoting their roadmaps to take on Web3. And we knew with our background, with our networks, contacts, we were the right team to take that on and really help restaurants bridge to Web3. There's so much value to the technology and what that can do. And we saw it and started building the platform to make it happen.
So, Shelly, this was a question I just thought of while you were asking that. And Chad, I didn't ask this one of you. When you're the value prop, right? When you're going to, and I know, and I guess there's a question, and then there's another question inside of this. Like, what am I trying to ask you? I know you have individual restaurants, right? You have individual restaurants, and then you have chains and things like that. When you're going after, say, the Dallas market, I'm just using that one because that's where I'm at. Are you going after like the chains first? That's a question. And then secondly, inside of that, what's the value proposition, outside of the food delivery aspect? Because of what you guys are doing is so unique in the context of the blockchain, the rewards, that you offer the users, et cetera. So give us some clarity into that. And you're muted, but I don't know if you want to come back. Can you hear me?
You're muted, sir.
Sorry, Chad. Listen, I'm going to get it together here. I thought he was asking you that question.
Shelly.
Listen, it's early here in Arizona. I'm on my second cup of coffee. I'll bring it. I'll bring it here in a second. I'm checking other things over here that I'm trying to make sure I get done this morning. I'm zoning in now. Right. No, absolutely on chains. One thing that I will say is when we launched in December of 21, restaurants weren't talking about blockchain, right? And we really thought the first thing they would go to is crypto, paying with crypto, and they kind of skipped right over that and went to the metaverse. But from then to now, the increase in how much it's being talked about, the way that big brands are looking at what's possible there, them wanting to drop NFTs. We, of course, have the partnership with WowBow that's 700 plus locations. They drop their collectibles, right? They see this opportunity for loyalty plays and ways to use digital assets for that. Old school QR codes, promo codes, membership cards, loyalty cards. They see this opportunity to use the blockchain for that way to engage with customers in a different way. And it's what we're preaching to them as well.
Yeah. So it's that NFT aspect. It's that NFT asset, et cetera. Yeah, I get that. Okay. But bottom line, historically, would you say that the restaurant industry, and Chad, you can answer this one if you want. I mean, it doesn't matter. Historically, would you say, give Shelly a break?
I'm going to come back in on this because I think I know where you're going on this.
Yeah.
I love the answer to this
historically,
question.
they've been old school, right? To me, they've always felt like they've been kind of lagging. Again, I get that's fundamentally, I think, what I'm getting at is you looking at an industry that's historically lagging. Yeah. So Yeah, and Chad, I am going to jump in on this. I'm sorry. Now you've woke me up. I'm good to go. We are right, and I say we are because I love the restaurant industry. I could work in a lot of industries, but I wouldn't work in any other. I love the chaos to it. But we are typically the last to adopt any new technology, right? Archaic. I'm old school in that I've been around since cash registers to POS systems to the advance of the food ordering with smartphones to the disruption with delivery. But restaurants are always last to adopt historically. Yeah. The pandemic changed that for a lot of them. If they didn't have a digital footprint when the pandemic hit, they got left behind, and they were at risk of closing their doors, and many obviously had to. So there's a bit of a different mindset with IT directors, even small, independent owners. They don't want to get left behind again. They don't want to get caught surprised like that. So I've noticed since that time, and I was running a strategic partnerships umbrella for a publicly traded company at that time. I've noticed since then and forward with Devour, the openness to something that is cutting edge and new and early that you would not have seen before. And Chad, I don't know if you've got anything you want to add to that, but it hands down for sure, we typically are archaic.
Yeah, and I'll add that the requirement, right? Because everyone's first assumption is when they hear about what we're doing and understanding how it involves the blockchain and crypto and NFTs and the metaverse, the assumption is, and it's a logical one, is, oh, restaurants have to understand some degree of that to get value out of Devour. And because of the pandemic, because of how that pushed all these restaurants, if they weren't already overnight, to get on the third-party delivery platforms, the DoorDashes, the Uber Eats, all these online, they needed to survive, right? Necessity is the mother of invention. So that technology, that infrastructure that allows them to get those orders in an operationally efficient way, that's been laid down. We get to ride down into that so we can send them orders, send them business that originates and benefits from the blockchain without them understanding any of the complexity. So
what I wanted to add into that was something you talked about last week, and I'm going to circle back to something that Shelly said. When you guys initially thought it was going to be a currency scenario, right? It was going to be that the restaurants would move into it for currency, for payment. But Chad, now I say that in this baseline to this point, when we had our last AMA with you, you guys talked about the fact with the wallet, it's seamless, it's invisible. The crypto angle it's there if you want it, right? But it's more of that NFT, it's more of that asset, it's more of those things, that give value to the end user. And I want to clarify that for my audience, because my audience, some of them may or may not have seen our last AMA, was that I think that's fundamentally what you guys, I mean, y'all are doing everything right in my opinion, but to me, that's what you did it right. Because Shelly, to your point, right? I've been doing this for years now, but in this seat, I've always, and Zach and I've talked about currency, crypto as a currency, and it is not going to hit mainstream until it is on this device and it is seamless and it is easy as hell. And that's a ways away, right, Zach? I mean, we've talked about this at length. So I think what y'all are doing is awesome in that it's seamless, So there you go.
Seamless to the restaurant first, right? Because we knew there would be those restaurants, let's say 1 out of 10, right? Where they say, oh, I see what's going on here. I want to be forward thinking. I want to be an early adopter. But we weren't going to scale $1 billion business working with just those restaurants today, right? We wanted to make it so that every restaurant, starting in the US, so ultimately then to the metaverse, to international, everybody's going to get it. Everybody can play, right? So now the profile of a restaurant that is a really good fit for us today is, do you do online ordering? Do you do takeout? Do you do delivery? If the answer is yes, we can help you, right? We can help you get value out of everything there is in the blockchain without the requirement to understand it.
Are you guys getting a lot of effectively no's because we already have a deal with the DoorDashes and the Ubers of the world? I mean, are y'all getting that, or is it like, hey, we're really not competition to them? We're an adjunct to that. So, what's your 2 cents on that?
Yeah, we're really not getting those no's from that. Now there are some really large brands who have exclusive contracts, right, with one or the other. The conversations we're having with the biggest brands, and I'm saying, anywhere from 500 to 5,000, 7,000 locations, it isn't about where the ball is at today. It's where is it going to be, right? And we aren't head-to-head competition with them, right? When we do a competitive landscape, we always have to include them because that is the space that we're playing in. But we're coming at it from such a different angle. It's how we are going about customer acquisition, collaborations, etc. The engagement, the crypto side, so different. And so, surprisingly, it has been brands of all sizes. It's harder maybe to get an independent owner who, they're just trying to get their doors open every day. Yeah. But the IT directors and marketing directors of the larger brands, I've actually been shocked how easy it is right now for us to have conversations with them.
So yeah, but so Shelly, there's a point in that, right? And again, Chad, and from our previous AMA, so thank you for clarifying this. This was interesting because like I have DoorDash, right? And I use that, and they're constantly shoving the Dash Pass down my throat, and I'm like, I don't want that, right? But to me, that's the fundamental. That's their thing. That's their hook. That's what they're doing. And I think, Chad, you illustrated that really well last time. Is that y'all are doing so much more on that customer acquisition, customer benefit, customer, and all of those things that they're not even, to me, they're not even, I mean, as far as I know, they're not even talking about that. It's not even really on their radar. Maybe they are behind closed doors, but they're not. To me, that's how that conversation, I'm sure, goes in some aspect, So that's my 2 cents.
For sure. Chad, I was waiting to see if you jumped in. For sure. Now I order delivery anyway, and I often say 5 to 7 times. I think over the last week I've ordered delivery 10 times. Just convenience, right? I have for a long time. I love that convenience. Cannot wait till every order is placed through Devour Go. But like the Dash Pass, etc. That's our industry pass. We're doing DPay back, where you can earn DPay back when you pay with DPay, when you hold the industry pass, and then to your point, the engagement and different things that we're doing. In collaborations. Right now, no one else in the space is doing that, and we know we've got a head start, which is an awesome place to be. But then you got to execute.
That's interesting because it's behavior, right? And Zach, I don't know. Okay, so Zach, I don't even know. You use DoorDash. Do you pay for the Dash Pass or whatever they call it?
I don't. Yeah, but I'm.
Why? And why?
My honest opinion, I'm a cheap ass.
Well, I wonder where I was going, but okay. Because Shelly, this is an illustration on the point, right? Is for me, I don't pay for it because literally when I'm ordering food for my son at 1 o'clock on he's summer, right? I'm going to order, and I see that, and I'm like, yeah. I'm literally going, am I really going to use it that much in a given month to justify the cost? And so I say that as a baseline for, okay, now let's juxtapose that against what you guys are doing. I know you have your industry pass. I get it. But to me, what you're doing is so much more value add. Right. If I'm in those online communities, Ultraverse, Metaverse, and all of those things that are coming, to me, that's what it really comes down to. Is it's ultimately about that value equation. And for me, there's not enough value in, I don't even know what Dash Pass costs, as an example, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. And I do think we're bringing that value, even just for our industry pass, right? All the other things. It isn't just about free delivery, promotions, etc. Now, I'm a loss leader for them. I do have a dash pass and whatnot, but I'm a loss leader. I guarantee you they lose money on me having one of those. But to your point, everything that we're doing and the value of that's our thesis. That's why we feel like in 5 years we'll be a $1 billion revenue company. It's why we're projecting that. And we don't have a problem putting that out there.
All right, cool. Well, Zach, I'm asking all the questions. You go, brother. I'm gonna shut up for a little bit.
Yeah. I'm by the way, everybody out there listening, we've got some big news to share later on in the stream.
Oh, yeah.
So make sure you guys stick around toward the end. Some big news coming from Shelly and Chad. I guess my question to start is like, what's kind of the best feedback you've received so far? I mean, how are people receiving this? What are some of the things you've kind of taken back? Like, wow, okay, this is something that's really working. Can we do more of this? Like, can we leverage this even more?
I'll jump in first, right? So I'm going to take it from both the restaurant and then our community partner standpoint. So for the restaurants, the best feedback we get, which is consistent, is, and you asked it earlier, I think, Austin, it's like, why wouldn't you do this? Or some version of that. Like, it makes too much sense. The work requirement, like, what does it take for them to get on our platform? Virtually nothing, right? And so in some cases, all they have to do is tell us on the phone, let's go, right? And we can activate them because of the strategic partnerships we have in the restaurant technology space with Chally, and now It's a Checkmate. It's another thing we can announce on the call today, right? But we make it so easy for them to attract the next generation of fans with nothing else they already have going. So no work, big value. Why wouldn't they? Even if they're in a market where we're not going to be sending them tons of orders tomorrow, the low barrier to entry is like, I want in, so that when it starts coming, I see where the ball is going, as Shelly said, like, I'm there ready to benefit. That, we hear it all the time. Some restaurants get very passionate about it. One of our first restaurant partners, Gregory's Coffee in New York, like, this is a guy, who's super into Web3. So he really got it. It's like, this is the biggest no-brainer ever. So that's very consistent, strong, positive feedback we get on the restaurant side. On the user side, we already talking about the multifaceted benefits, right? I'm not just getting to order food. I'm getting that gamified food experience. I'm getting all kinds of benefits as I, share content through Devour, play the games that we have there, make orders. All of it is part of this combined gamified ecosystem where I'm really benefiting if I'm digging into the platform. Especially if I have the industry pass to what you mentioned, us, because it all connects and amplifies the rewards. So for a user at the individual level, there's that, but also it's the community side, especially younger folks. They're going, everything they want to do digitally, it's to connect socially, because that's where their social connections happen. Whether it's in their digital communities, whether an NFT community, an online game, these connections, and those connections are amplified through Devour Go, because we're recognizing users at the community level. Hey, we've got this unique restaurant experience, this secret item for all of y'all. Now you enjoy it and then share it, right? Talk about it, right? And then in the game, that's just 10x. But the feedback is going to the very question you asked, we amplify a community experience, and that's valuable in any context.
Yeah, I did some ad hoc marketing analysis for you. I have a 15-year-old, right, and he's in the heart of it, and sometimes to my dismay, right? But and I told him what you guys were doing, and I said, "Hey, is this something that you would envision yourself using?" And I didn't have to explain it to him. I'm like, it's once he get it, he's like, "Oh yeah." He said, "Dad, I would absolutely use that over, say, a DoorDash and stuff because he's like, I get rewards, I get this." I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely." I mean, it was like his instant. He understood it. He got it. There wasn't a learning curve or any of that, into that scenario. So we get this one. I know you guys, there you go. Here's the feedback when you're coming to my state or town. Of course, I'm sure y'all hear that, maybe once or twice a day, right? So, So kind of lay out some of that. I know if you want to real quickly go through your markets, or not all of them. I know you're in quite a few, but go ahead.
Absolutely. So we're in about 17 markets right now. Now that doesn't mean that we have those completely built out. We really, from February, we look at ourselves in beta. We'll start coming out of that in August and really start working on scaling. But the big ones, New York, LA, San Francisco, Miami, Denver, Dallas, Chicago, Washington, DC, et cetera, and expanding that. We've kind of kept it around 300 plus restaurants during this time. Everything has been about making sure our infrastructure. We are built to scale to millions of users, but we wanted to be able to do some stress testing. What's it look like to support orders, right? Because 5% of orders are going to have issues. All of those kinds of things. But our goal by the end of the year is 3,500 to 5,000 in, and so those. We'll be in about 40 markets by the end of the year. Wow, our partnership with WowBow, as we are able to start on onboarding them, that'll take us into even some more regional areas or rural areas versus the top metros. So big expansion plans, a lot that'll happen there with the Metaverse and other partnerships that'll really, hockey stick style growth is really what will start to happen there.
Cool. Good stuff. Zach?
Yeah, I mean, talking about kind of markets and more or less like different types of restaurants. Have you seen like a certain type of restaurant yet kind of like be more susceptible to be wanting to use this? Like basically what I'm trying to say, is it more, do you guys see more like fast food, more mom and pop? Do you see, or is it just kind of casting a wide net right now?
Yeah, you want to hit that, or I'm happy to too. It is a mix of everything, but here are the themes, right? So if it's a larger group, it's going to tend to be fast food, counter service type restaurant. Mm-hmm. If it's a mom and pop, you see everything, right? I see fine dining restaurants on Devour. Goes like, you would never even think this restaurant does takeout and delivery, but probably because of the pandemic, they got into it and say, hey, this is extra sales, let's keep it going. And so now they're even a good fit for Devour. So it's more diversity at the mom and pop independent level. The higher up you go, the more, I'm ordering at the counter, fast food type place.
Right. Interesting.
What about regional? I mean, I know you're, so that's kind of a follow-up question to that, right? Do you tend to see demographically any variances there?
I think you see a lot more diversity of cuisines and types of restaurants in the bigger cities, but I'd say the general rule holds true. Is like any restaurant is on the table when it's an independent mom and pop, as long as the region offers that type of dining to residents. Yeah. So many restaurants are on third party platforms doing pickup and delivery. So if they're in town, right, you could look them up online. Do they do online ordering? They're in play. It's just we mirror the diversity of the region.
You guys hinted a little bit, or we all did, about some partnerships and things like that. What are some partnerships out there that I know you can't speak on all of this, but what are some things you would like to do in that department, maybe that are in the works that you want to get to? I mean, are there any big partners out there that you're actively pursuing right now?
Absolutely. And so we have already publicly announced the partnership with Altiverse and their exciting Unreal Engine, gaming metaverse. That opportunity to partner with someone like that's backed by some of the biggest names in blockchain is huge, because we know and we see where their user counts are going to go. So that being able to also use that to build the infrastructure, that us building the player power up as well, that being able to port maybe to other metaverses, to other video games, to other player consoles, etc. That's huge, because we are building everything not just for one integration, but so it could be used across a number of them. And Chad, I know there was one you were looking at yesterday, very large convenience store doing some things. And it's like, hey, we've already built the necessary APIs for that, right? We've got some contacts that'll be able to potentially get us in. And often in a lot of those types of things, it's just having the right network and the right contact to have the conversation. So we're building the underlying APIs, plumbing infrastructure to be able to do a lot of partnerships. Also for restaurants, one thing of the us implementing the Devour Go wallet is that ability for them to be able to reward. Oops. I see what's on screen. For them to be able to reward with auto minting of NFTs directly to the Devour Go wallet. So being able to use dynamic NFTs and then being able to use them like a billboard, that's another thing. And we're talking to a lot of restaurants about being able to do that.
So Shelly, the reason I pulled this up, obviously I was just, giving some context and just throwing through your Twitter. And there's a question here. I'm not quite sure how I want to ask it, right? We've been really talking about the food delivery side of this, right? And physically the delivery of the food, but what grabbed my attention here, obviously 7-Eleven based in Dallas. Obviously I'm very familiar with these guys, but the question or the context of what I wanted to bring up to this is that, I want to get this right. And this is for either of you. It's not always necessarily about the delivery of a food product. It can be more, to your point, I think, about the experience. And to me, that's what this kind of says a little bit, right? It's that, what am I trying to get at? It's that these organizations like 7-Eleven or insert any, scenario here, it's not necessarily about physically delivering that food to me, but it's about that online aspect. You see what I'm getting at? There's a question. I'm not sure. I'm not formulating it right. Go ahead, Shelly.
I feel where you're going there. And actually, our 5-word pitch right now is disrupting the digital food experience, right? And that could be phygital. So it could be a combination of digital, it being and physical, it being brought to you. But it's experience. We have collaborations in the works with celebrity chef organizations and celebrity chefs themselves. Of what's that look like then to also progressive food experience on premise, reservations, wait lists. And so, back to what you pulled up with the Vayner had posted on 7-Eleven, it is experience. It is that. What's it look like to merge this world of the digital world with actually also being able to order something? You think of 7-Eleven, convenience stores, etc. You talk about the gaming world, with which average age is 34. The crazy number of hours typically spent playing games, etc. And 34 and under, but that ability to order convenience items, but that also then being able to be rewarded or use an NFT for a discount with that, etc. So it's the combination of it all to the experience and merging that with the digital experience they're in right as well.
Yeah, and I hadn't really. I'm 54 years old, right? I'm not really, but I kind of am in your demographic. I'm a unique guy sitting in crypto, blah, blah, blah. But for me, I had always thought of you guys as food delivery aspect. So thank you for formulating that, Chris. For me, I'm like, okay, I live in Dallas. I use your app. I'm just using this as an example, right? I use your app. I have some online activity that gets me something, gets me points or whatever you want to call it. But ultimately, whatever variation on that, it could drive me to the store, right? And that's activity I know that some of those entities want, like your convenience stores and things of that nature. And I hadn't really put that together. I think that's very cool, So
I think it's important to think of if you go in there, I encourage everybody to do this. If you get Devour Go, right, the app on the website devourgo.io, you're going to see, oh, this is very reminiscent of other ordering platforms I've used in the past.
Yeah.
But foundationally, right, it is fair to say, hey, we're very similar to like a Web3 DoorDash. However, right, that's just where we start, right? And so integrating to the Altaverse and Metaverse and gaming, very unlike anything else out there. The gamified aspects of the ordering platform, the type of experiences and collaborations we can facilitate. That's very not right beyond, just the Web3 DoorDash. So we're just getting started. It's interesting to know that everything you see when you look at Devour, that's been built in far less than a year, right? So we have an amazing engineering team that's just cranking. And so this is going to just keep expanding types of unique experiences offered. 7-Eleven, and that news is exciting. It's like, hey, whenever a brand comes out, right? Whether it's a restaurant brand, convenience brand, or any brand at all that wants to partner with a restaurant to deliver a fan experience, we're the go-to for making those digital assets have utility that can amplify that experience. So as Shelly mentioned, that integration to make that 7-Eleven Slurpee NFT, the vibe, like do something, we could do that so quickly. And that's where we're really excited when we see things like this. Like, the phone call's probably coming next week where it's like, oh, let's talk about how we actually make it so that these holders actually can get a unique experience when they order from 7-Eleven. So really the sky's the limit. We're just at this foundational stage. While awesome, we know where this is going in a very short time.
Do you all feel like you're kind of like one big partnership away from going mainstream? I mean, it feels like that, right? Because so many people in crypto too. I mean, because there's different sectors. We were talking about meme coins, and this is obviously not that, right? It's like very, very highly speculative plays. They're over here, and there's a place for that. But this is a very, I hate to use it because it's cliche, but it's revolutionary. I can't think of another way to put it. I mean, you really are trying to flip an industry on its head, which it seems like, that's a kind of a slower growth path until one thing kind of clicks and it's like, boom, light bulb on, people know about you. And it's like, here we go. Right.
Yeah. I keep telling the community, it's just, you can feel that water against the dam, right? And there've been so many different things over the last year where we're like, oh, this is exciting, this is crazy. But it's just like that you can feel the pressure of that right now of, and when is that water going to break through, et cetera. And it often feels like that one partnership and then that one big, we're going to share something really big today. That happens and it's like, okay, now what's next? I've got a pretty big meeting in a few hours with the chief of staff of the CEO of an integration we absolutely need for enterprise. And I've got to keep selling them on their last ones that they integrated with were, I think, is Grubhub and Easy Cater, two really sizable players. And it's like, we wouldn't be a typical integration they would even take a meeting with, and I'm going to get that integration. Why? Because we need it for the enterprise accounts, and that puts us in the ability to chase. We've got the integrations at that point. We can chase any enterprise and just keep pushing this out. So it's collaborations in with crypto, with NFT, with restaurants, with big, technology companies, and they just keep coming. We've had amazing news over even just the last few weeks.
Shelly, on that front, I think.
Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
So on that front, because I know people are out there thinking like, okay, this enterprise side, but then we have the retail side. Can you explain kind of the differences there and how you have to be kind of taking that two-pronged approach to your business model?
And you mean like the restaurant side and then the user side? Is that
right,
kind of
right?
Where, yeah. So anytime you're building a marketplace, you've got supply and demand. And supply are your restaurants and demand are your users. And it is very hard to have those build and scale at the right percentage of each to be able really to scale the company. We've taken an approach where, we've been bootstrapped. We white knuckle it a lot over the last 18 months, but we've taken that approach to not worry about scaling revenue, et cetera. But we have been working to scale the restaurant side and really building that side specifically. And when you think about our target demographic, gamers, degens, NFT holders, et cetera, they can be anywhere. And we are concentrated in the United States at this point, but we've got to be able to have coverage even for Altiverse and the Metaverse. We've got to have coverage nationwide. We can't, typically you would start, like I'm here in Phoenix, you would say, okay, we're going to build out Phoenix. We're going to do everything that we need to have this perfect and how to do that. And we've had to roll the dice and expand further than that. And so then you build that, and then on the user side, you've got to start building up that demand. But to get them interested, you have to have something there. And that's, we've just recently unlocked Go VIP, where at least, users can, you click on the Go VIP, you can see what it is, you can get in there. We released that early, actually back in December. And so right now, if you click on Join Go VIP, you're going to get to that page and be able to see what. I think you may still not be on a current. Go ahead and click on Go VIP up there and on the menu, and let's see if we get into the because we've just unlocked this where you can see everything and you can see what's possible there. And so getting them in, even if we don't have restaurants in their city yet, giving them something to be able to do, to start leveling up their account, playing. The leaderboards are coming. And I don't know if you and Chad had the opportunity to talk about that last time. So that is a difficult balance. And it's one of the 100 plates we're spinning up in the air right now of scaling the company. But it's also fun to strategize that and figure out how to do it, and the different types of collaborations that potentially will be coming that'll make that also all of a sudden just balloon up.
Mm-hmm. So I want to ask a follow-up question, because I think Zach nailed it. I think, and you nailed the enterprise side, the business side, the facilitation side, right? And so I want to ask the same question, but I want to focus on the other side. I want to focus on that event. And here's what I'm really saying. Metaverse. It's out there. We all talk about it. There's however many of them you want to talk about. You have Alterverse, you have that relationship. You have the Shiba Inu metaverse coming. You have all these different metaverses. But at the end of the day, I think the adoption, the actual people in there using it, playing, do their thing. I mean, I bought an Oculus for my son. We used it for about 3 weeks, and now I was like, it's in a drawer somewhere, and I'm using that only as a point of question or point of reference, right? It's that, what do you guys see on your side that has to happen on the not necessarily just users on Metaverse side, but the is there a groundswell event? Everything, all metaverses now are in the Unreal Engine, whatever it may be. What are you guys thinking on that side?
I'm going to let Chad speak to the metaverse, because that's his baby, his thing that he loves more. But I do want to give a stat here. There are 212 million gamers in the United States. And so that's a number, that's a pretty big TAM, right? Yeah. To go after. And so again, building that infrastructure so that we can do things across a lot of different environments, not just metaverse, but in video game and things as well. That's a high user count for us to go after. We don't need 212 million for Devour Go to explode. Chad, I'll let you speak to the metaverse side, because I love hearing your perspective on it.
I'm going to hit this in two ways. First, before I even get into the metaverse, right? Why would the users come? Two is, two prongs, right? One is the experience. The other is the accessibility. Let's hit the accessibility first, right? We're engineering all of these elements into Devour Go so that someone completely outside of Web3, right? Let's say they're a gamer, but they just haven't gotten into it. They didn't understand the blockchain. They've been, let's say on Xbox, they haven't paid attention. But they come into the platform and say, oh, I have a wallet automatically. Cool. I can play these games. I can do everything else everybody can do. I can get these digital assets. Again, they might not even be calling it NFTs, digital collectibles. I get to do everything that the DGen can do and benefit the same without any of the complexity, right? That's key. And we'll be sharing more news today on exactly how much more we're able to do that on the accessibility side. The other is the experience, and now I'll go to the metaverse, right? If I'm a gamer, and I have the option of conveniently ordering food from my game without having to leave that environment, and where we're going with Alterverse, right? That enhances my player experience. I'm getting a power up. I'm filling my energy bar, something of value to me, saving me time, resources, etc. in that game. There is zero reason why that player wouldn't be very excited. People like your son also, like that, to order from that environment. I think when people think metaverse, a lot of people still are thinking not a fun game, right? Like there's just that still association, but that's shifting. And one of the reasons we love Altiverse is like that is a AAA game first, right? That is what it is first, right? It is an amazing environment. It is the Roblox for the more mature audience, less blocky, more realistic, doing all the things modern gamers want to do in a fun game, developed by an amazing game studio, right? So like that user growth for them and the quality of experience that we can deliver right through the food to amplify that experience, that's what will make the users come through the metaverse. And like even if their projections are insane, but even if they only hit 1/20th of what Roblox is, our business explodes, right? It's like the math just works.
Interesting. Well, this is cool. I mean, to get some insight into some of this stuff. I mean, it's cool that you guys are industry veterans and you're also obviously bridging the gap to these future scenarios. So Zach, I'll let you take a few if you got something.
No, I mean, what was on my mind, I think, Chad, what you said, I've heard so many people in the gaming side say, you know, we've worked with some companies, big and small. I mean, I've talked with people at Gala Games, and their whole main focus is build great games first, right? And then the blockchain element will just be smoothly integrated. But I mean, if it's a great game, people will play it. And then it's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. I can actually own NFTs. I can own my digital assets. I can make money at this. Wait a minute. This is unbelievable. I'm definitely going to stay here. So I love it. That's a big partnership. And, you know, Shelly, to your point with that, you know, I've heard some crazy numbers too, with like the future of gaming and how big mobile gaming is. I love that you guys are, you know, looking at the sectors that are obviously your sector, you know, within the restaurant industry, huge opportunity, but you're also partnering up with the metaverse, which I think we kind of scratched the surface a little bit in 2021, but we're really not fully there yet. I think this next bull run we will be. Same thing with gaming. We kind of scratched the surface. We had this like Axie Infinity and a couple of these big ones, you know, that burst on the scene, but we're really not fully there yet. I think those two sectors in particular, Austin, if you want to speak to this, I think they're primed. So I think the fact that you all are marrying up with those two is awesome. It's exciting.
So I'm switching, but I'm going to bring this up because I want y'all's opinion. Y'all are in crypto. You've been here a while. It would seem that the XRP verdict, the Ripple verdict, has come in, and
that's why it's flying.
It went Ripple's way.
Woo!
Unbelievable. Summary judgment is in. Boca just put in the comments. Wow. So that's amazing for crypto.
I saw it drop and I'm like,
wow.
Hold on, let's go look. I mean,
that is phenomenal.
You know, that's exciting, and that takes you to we're a US based company, right? Yeah. I mean, we have gone from we're gonna have to pack me up and move me overseas to you know to meeting with a lot of different lawyers and I've loved Coinbase's stance on how they were going to represent. But I mean, XRP, they've been in this for a while, right? I mean, that I can't remember whether it was 2020 or 21 that that kind of all started. But holy cow, that's exciting.
We have to create some content later today.
Yeah, we're probably going to do another live stream after this. I'm sure we'll be back. We'll be back. But Shelly, you know, as a project creator, dig into that a little bit. To your point, your statement was, I may have to move. I mean, and that all the fear and uncertainty and doubt. And you guys are what you do. It's very, very black and white. But that was part of y'all's narrative or your internal dialogues. I mean, wow,
It's we've gone all over the place on that. We had through one of our advisors, I was able to meet with with Coinbase's attorneys early on. We've had to evaluate a lot of things along the way. We also play it very conservative, right? Which you will see maybe in the way we talk about BPay and different things. In that we have been very cognizant that we are first and foremost business people who we are building this into $1 billion revenue company. And so we've been careful there, but we've had the amazing opportunity, Stripe's gone from, they would shut down your payments account if you were doing anything with NFTs, et cetera, to we're in their Stripe fiat to crypto program, right? And now you can load BPay on your account. Now that it's on account, you can move it on chain, but you can load BPay on your Devour Go account and then with Stripe checkout. And so, there is a ton there that has progressed. We had to submit our Devour Go app to Apple 10 times to get it approved because of the crypto component to it. So yeah, there's so much to that behind the scenes, and a lot of anxiety. So this is, it isn't over, but what you just shared, I can't wait to dig into that more, because there's a little bit of that kind of just happened as well.
It's going to be wild to see. Go ahead, Zach. Go ahead.
Everybody was just on the edge of their seat because they know, pun intended, I've been saying this in all my videos, it's going to have ripple effects. It's going to have ripple effects on the entire industry, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
100%. So I mean, this is unbelievable news. And for everybody out there thinking about looking at DPay as an investment, I think we're at like a $1.5 million market cap right now. So very, very early days still. We've got the links down there if you want to check it out.
Yep.
And go ahead, Austin. Jump in.
No, that's it. I think, we've been teasing it a little bit. If Shelly / Chad, whoever wants to take it, you said y'all wanted to release some alpha. So if the stage is yours. So if y'all want to do
the honor is yours, Shelly.
I thank you very much. I'm going to lead up to it because we've got a few headlines this week. So you are now, if you are an Apple or a Google Android user, you can download the Devour Go app on either of those stores. So the app is live, ready to go. We've got a couple things that we know that the team are tackling from those being released, but otherwise we are super excited about the fact that Devour Go, you can search just Devour Go in either of the stores and find it. That's downloadable. I just had said that we just released yesterday that load DPay on account. So you can load anywhere from 25 to 400. We've set a limit there while we gauge this out. You can load that on your Devour Go account. It's DPay on account. You can check out with the Stripe using debit or credit card. This is, again, that how do we attract in the Web 2 non-degen user not being able to figure out wallets and things like that. Once it's loaded on your account, you can either use it to place orders or you can transfer it on chain. And so that is everything that we've architected into the system. We will be building next that ability to check out and buy on-chain DPay straight with a Stripe checkout. So that's exciting as well. But so those are two big things that have also happened. But our biggest news, and we have not released this publicly. We've teased it, but we knew we wanted to release it here with you guys today. We have been accepted into Google's startup of Web3 cloud program, and this is huge from a standpoint of credibility. It's an esteemed program. We will get support, funding, and connections from 11 major blockchain firms, Flow, Near, Solana, Polygon, Alchemy, Coinbase Ventures. We'll have the opportunity to meet with Coinbase listing team, although centralized listing is not what we have pursued in any way, shape, or form. We get extensive infrastructure credits from Google to build out the infrastructure for the next 2 years. So from a scaling and standpoint on that, we get token gated access to their engineers and Web3 teams. We will be able to influence their Web3 roadmap. We'll have exclusive opportunities to attend Google Web3 events. We moved to a top tier 24/7 technical support across the board. We have Google Map credits, and of course in Devour Go, and when you're doing food delivery, et cetera, the Google Map expense and projections in just itself is huge. And then we get access to their Google Analytics Looker system, which is about 60 grand for the next year. And so being accepted into this, and just the credibility, and then having a titan like Google behind us is just huge. And it also is interesting. Again, we had to submit our app 10 times to Apple, and then Google, it was about 24 hours it was on, and then also the Web3 program. This is a new program this year, and to be accepted into that and recognized by them and backed then by them is just, it's enormous. So it's another one of those things of the water against the dam.
That's huge.
Congratulations.
Huge.
Okay, I have a question. Are you going to have a documentation of everything you just said? Because that was insane. Like literally.
I was thinking the same thing. I need
I need to
make
know
a video
all this.
on that.
I mean, I can make a video on that, but oh my God, it's like all this stuff, right? So.
Yeah. And actually, it's public, right? I mean, as far as what the features and benefits that come along with getting into this program is public on Google's website, and it's their startup, Google Cloud for Startups, but it's the Web3 version of that. But for sure, soon as I'm actually getting ready to hit public, we posted a blog post to go to the website last night, but we left it as private until we had mentioned it here. I think there will be some of that there, but the line by line, and I may have left even some of them out, but the line by line benefits to this is huge. Access to potentially millions of funding and whatnot, and building this type of system is not cheap. And so that ability to scale faster with the backing of a company like Google, you can't underestimate what this will be for our scaling capability.
Congratulations. I know.
Thank you.
I know a lot of work went into that, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not. Yes.
That's phenomenal. I think I added the
yes,
right link. I think I read it. I think I added the link in chat too, if people want to check it out. I think that's the right link. I just quick search, build faster and easier Web3 startup program.
Cloud.google.com.
Yeah. Looks familiar. Familiar.
That's amazing. So are there a ton of Web3 companies that have got this yet? I mean, is it just how new is this, I guess?
So it just came out this year. Beginning of the year, they started to structure it. I think they updated it with the 11 blockchain firms and either blockchains companies. There's Alchemy Credits, Nansen, and Third Web is also a partner in that. I think that was April that they did some updates there. We'll probably getting into the token gated Discord, learn more about other companies that are in, but there are not many. There were a number. We were already in their Google, their low tier Google cloud startup, and so we had some benefits there. But this ability to jump up to this and convert to the Web3 startup and move up to the scale tier, enormous. And there were hoops obviously to jump through in ways that happened, but it's an exciting day. It's been an exciting week for sure.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations, Shelly, Chad. I mean, you guys, I know there's been a lot of long days and nights and more to come. And I think I said this, Chad, and I want to get this right. In our last AMA, when we started working with you guys and talking with you guys and understanding what y'all were doing, I was amazed. And then I was even more amazed after our last AMA, because I understood more of how seamless you're making it for the consumer. And I think we did a good job in this AMA was clarifying the enterprise side. I think so. Shelly, thank you for that. You gave us a lot more insight into that side of the business, because to your point, you've got both sides. You got the business side and you got the retail, the consumer side. And I don't see anybody even remotely catching up with what you guys are doing. Oh, by the way, with this announcement with Google, that's nothing short of amazing. And I would say to anybody watching this, there's links in the description below on Zach's channel, my channel. Check these guys out. But here's the thing. I always say this. Don't check it out as an investment. Check it out as, like, this is you guys, hey, Zach, you said it. You're flipping an industry on its ear. You're turning it upside down. And that is a gargantuan task. And I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. That's all I got. So Zach, I'm going to let you give it some more. Get the app. Yeah.
I love it. Yes.
I just
that app.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Shelly.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go
ahead. I love to tell a story that I think it was 1999 or 2000. I had this idea of concierge idea of, get anything brought to you, food, dry cleaning, etc. Went out and bought the domain giveme.com, had some engineers and different things start to work on it. But I was 8 years early. The smartphone the iPhone hadn't even come out, right? 2008, the first version was released. And this idea of being early, but pushing the envelope, being early and disrupting, right? I have wanted that opportunity my entire career. I love the idea of being early and innovating. And we're right time, right place, right team, right concept. And a lot of times it's luck of the timing falling into that enables the company to do that. And I think Devour is the one that can make that happen. To your point, Austin, we are excited about the head start that we have. It will be hard for a company to catch up with us. One piece or part, they may be able to, but what our engineering team and what we've been able to architect, we are ahead. And now we've got to stay ahead. We've got to stay ahead with that innovation. I had to, for a fundraising mastery course I'm in right now, write a vision of 2028 a few days ago. And it was a lot of what that would look like in celebrating the $1 billion revenue and the innovation that had happened over the previous 5 years. So we do not plan to stop.
No, now that I'm getting to know you and Chad, I have no doubt of that. So, Chad, you have any final words before we check out?
I think just the timing with the XRP news and the release today is just awesome with all coming together.
We all get to take a deep sigh of relief. Even us.
Really though, seriously.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry,
Right.
Chad. Yeah.
So like let's party, right? I mean, I want everybody to go get the Devour Go app, because if you have an iPhone, which I know most listeners probably do, that just came out, so you can be one of the first people to experience Devour Go on the iPhone. Android users, you've had it for about a week, but get in there and have fun, right? It's eat, play, experience, and join the crew, and let's have a party, because this is a big day.
All right, well, I think we're going to wrap up there. Zach, any final parting words? Are we good?
No, I'm excited. That's all I got. And
everybody wants to look at the portfolio. What's it doing?
We'll let you guys get off to that. We know you're like, okay, we're done here. Let's go.
Y'all are even like, okay, I got to go look at my, just like it,
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think, final thought. I want to. So Shelly, Chad, stick around after we do end. I got a few things I want to go over real quickly, so don't leave. Okay. But thank you guys, Julie, Shelly, Chad. Thank you for even more clarification on what you guys are doing. I would tell anybody who's watching this live, and/or if you're watching it on the replay, look at what these guys are doing. Look at what Devour is doing. They are completely revolutionizing and changing an industry, and that is the point I want to end on. So thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all later. And let's all celebrate the XRP Ripple win. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Austin.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.